It's Drewski McGillicuddy's Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, Producer's Cut Movie Review. Hey everybody, it's Drewski McGillicuddy, and this is like the 13th time I've had to record this. So here, I'm going to tell you this one more time. Look, I won an award for being the most creative character. That's not it.
Entertaining.
For being the most, I don't even know what the hell it's for. Something about I'm entertaining, I say stuff that makes people laugh. It's just like real life. Anyway, Sarah also won an award for being a brown nose and kiss ass. It's called the Teacher's Pet Award. I'm not making this shit up. Here, I'll show you a picture. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about Halloween 6, Curse of Michael Myers, the Producer's Cut. Yeah, that's right. I decided to do the Producer's Cut because everybody's already talked about the theatrical version. And I was going to talk about the theatrical version and this version, but I hadn't seen the theatrical version in a couple years, and I wanted to watch this one because I've only seen it once, and I like the way this one flows a lot better because it's more cohesive with the editing, because the editing looks like it was edited by a professional, whereas the theatrical cut looks like... and it bothers me. But on the flip side, the producer's cut bothers me because they go too far into this cult bullshit, and you know, it aggravates me. But we'll talk about that. So yeah, this movie starts off, you got the hospital scene, the baby's being ritualed, and it goes on for an unhealthy amount of time. And then you got Dr. Loomis giving a narration. And then come to find out, Michael Myers had done his sex with his niece and had an incest baby. And that's just nasty. Like, do we need to know that? Like, so basically, they've been holding Jamie captive for 6 years until she was old enough to party. And then I don't know. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Like, they could have just left that part out. It's like, why couldn't they have just edited the theatrical cut the same way they edited this movie, and then the theatrical cut would be the superior, whereas neither one of them are superior because one's got this better and one's got this worse. One's got this worse, one's got this better. It's like an unbalanced fucking scale, and it drives me fucking crazy. I need to get a hold of that Lee from Drum Dum's fancy cut or something. Somebody keeps telling me there's this cut that I need to see that's the best of both worlds, which I don't see how you. I guess I can see how you could do it. I just don't know what happened with the theatrical cut with the editing. It really bugs the shit out of me. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. So, yeah, they held Jamie captive for like 6 years. And then had Michael plant a seed in her. And then she has the baby. And then there's this nurse, right? And she won't quit laughing. She's being chased by a psychopathic murderer. Won't quit laughing. It's like the director couldn't have been like, hold on, wait a minute. Let's try that one more time, but this time stop thinking of that funny shit you heard earlier. Just, you know, keep a straight face. You're supposed to be crying, not laughing, unless that's her cry face. I don't know, but other than that, I really enjoy this opening. It's got the atmosphere that was missing from the 2018 movie. Now, I couldn't put my finger on what was missing about the atmosphere of the 2018 movie. It's like I can't put my finger on how this one has the atmosphere. I don't know how they did it. I just know that they did it. When I watch this movie, I can feel the atmosphere. It feels like a horror movie. It feels like October. Maybe that's what the problem with the the 2018 movie was. It didn't feel like a horror movie. You know what I mean? This movie feels like a horror movie. Does that make sense to you? If that makes sense to you, let me know if you know what I'm talking about. Because I need just as much help figuring out what the fuck's coming out of my mouth as you do. If you don't understand. Anyway, so yeah, I love this opening scene. I love the music in this movie. And the music in the producer's cut is slightly different than the music in the theatrical version. Just slightly, though. And only in certain scenes, I've noticed. Especially the scenes that weren't in the theatrical version, which makes perfect sense because, you know, why would they use the music in both if it's only in one? Anyway, the other thing that bothers me about the producer's cut compared to the theatrical version is Jamie. Alright? In the theatrical version, she gets one of the most brutal, like, hell of a send-off. You know, like, what the hell did I say before in the third fucking time I recorded it? It's a brutal fucking kill, and it's suitable for this character. You know, it's a good send-off kill. Okay? But no, in the fucking producer's cut, she survives. He only stabs her, and then she's in a coma, which is a waste of fucking time. I was like, well, what the fuck was the point of keeping her alive if she's just gonna be in a fucking coma? What the fuck's the point? Oh, wait, somebody fucking sneaks in. It's not Michael Myers and shoots her in the head? What the fuck is that? I mean, what the fuck was the point of any of this? You know, Michael Myers spent 2 movies trying to kill her. And then he spent the beginning of this movie trying to kill her and take her baby. And then somebody that's not Michael Myers comes into the hospital where she's already in a coma and shoots her in the fucking head with a gun. And this is a slasher movie. That's great. Y'all are fucking dumb as fuck. But, you know, shit. See, that's another reason I need to goddamn I need my own cut of this movie. I mean, I haven't seen anybody else's cut. There's cuts on the, whatever. There's cuts on the internet that are apparently the best of both movies. I think I could do one. You know, if I could learn how to do stuff, I think I could do it. But anyway, so I've heard people on the internet say that this movie's got a lot of unlikable characters and the acting's bad. But I don't know. I don't know. A lot of these people seem like they weren't alive in the 90s because a lot of these people in this movie, they're acting like it's the 90s. Just like in all the Friday the 13th movies, everybody's acting like it's the 80s. Goddamn millennials. Anyway, what was I talking about? So, Kira. Is her name Kira? Kara. See? Kara Strode happens to live in the Myers house because her dad is an asshole. And yeah, he's probably the biggest piece of shit ever put to screen since Creepshow with Tom Atkins, where he was the drunk asshole dad in the epilogue and the prologue to Creepshow. Yeah, this guy's like that amplified to 11. But I do love the whole breakfast scene where they're all sitting around and then he starts in with, "Oh, give her all the money, blah, 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 and move in with that little bastard, blah, 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 blah." And then she says, "I only see one bastard in this house." And he gets up and he slaps her in the face. And then Danny comes over and he's standing there with a knife. Now, in the theatrical version, I think after he hits her, he just looks down and he happens to be standing there with a knife. But in the producer's cut, he hears that voice, "You kill them, Danny." Which,
that's stupid.
Like, yeah, that is kind of stupid. So, like, I'm so conflicted with both versions of this movie just because of the whole cult thing. I think it should have been like, I was never big on the Thorn trilogy, which was weird because I guess when I was little, I never paid attention to the whole Thorn thing. And now that I'm an adult and I'm seeing it, it's bothering me. Because I've always liked this movie. I never really liked part 4 or part 5. But I've always sort of liked this movie. Aside from the whole thorn thing. Now, I think the thorn symbol looks cool. But I don't like Michael Myers having something that drives his actions, you know. I don't like there being a wheelman, so to speak. You know, it's fucking stupid. But aside from that, Michael Myers is awesome in this movie. Did I already say about how the mask is awesome too? Aside from the hair, it looks like he's got bedhead or something. It's a very 90s Michael Myers mask. I don't know. But the other thing I like about this movie that other people probably don't like is some of the off-screen kills. Like Mrs. Strode. The whole scene with Mrs. Strode, like where she goes down in the basement, the thing floods, and then, you know, when she goes to the backyard and she realizes that she's being chased, and then there's Michael in the bed sheets. It's very reminiscent of when Laurie was looking out her window and saw Michael standing in the yard with the bed sheets blowing in the wind. And here he is in his backyard doing the same thing again. And he's got an axe. And what a cool image. Michael Myers holding an axe. Now, he looks cool with a butcher knife. He looks even cooler with an axe. So, yeah. And then when Tim
almost forgot.
They show that shit. They show that shit for the most part. But I also love the whole scene when they go to the Halloween festival, or was it a festival parade? She didn't watch the movie. She doesn't know. When they're having the live radio broadcast, just the scene where Paul Rudd is walking through the festival. Maybe can I find it? No, I can't find it. But yeah, I love that scene. That's probably my favorite shot of the movie. And then I like when the little girl is over under the tree and she's like, "Mommy, it's raining red. It's raining red, Mommy." Or I had the rhythm before. I don't have it now. But yeah, I thought that was cool. And then when she's like, "Why is it warm?" and they look up, it's like, "Ah!" But then, yeah. So yeah, I like all the characters in this movie. Even Tim's girlfriend, even though I can't remember her name, I remember her boobs. They were itty bitty titties, but they were cute. They were cute. I'm not one to discriminate when it comes to a boob. I'll look at any of them, unless they're like scary. I don't like scary looking titties. But these were very, very, you know, whatever. We're not here to talk about that. Anyway, so Dr. Loomis is still alive in this movie. And I think this might be my favorite Dr. Loomis portrayal, even though he's pretty much... I don't know. I like Dr. Loomis in this almost as much as I like him in the first one. I think this is the best Dr. Loomis we have in the franchise since the first one. Just because... But it's like, why are you always yelling, Dr. Loomis? Like when he's sitting down talking to Mrs. Strode, he's just yelling sometimes for no reason. I guess he's just very passionate about what he's talking about. I guess I shouldn't talk because I do the same thing. Anyway, what the hell am I doing? What am I doing? I've tried to do this so many times. One of these days, I'll revisit Halloween 6. We'll go watch the theatrical cut. But until then, let's talk about what happens. So, you know, obviously, you know, Paul Rudd, he plays Tommy Doyle. He hears Jamie on a radio broadcast calling into the radio station trying to get Dr. Loomis's attention. And Tommy puts 2 and 2 together that she's down at this bus station. And he goes down to the bus station and he gets the baby. He follows the trail of blood. But my thing is, you know, he asks the guy, did this train come in or this bus come in from wherever? And the guy's like, yeah. He's like, do you need help with something? Are you looking for somebody? And he walks away all weird like. So if that guy walked away from me and then I saw him again and he happened to be carrying a baby, I'd be like, excuse me, sir, where the fuck did you get that baby? You didn't come in here with that baby. But no, seriously. So he gets the baby. He tries to take it to the hospital, and I get it. He was a dick, but he's panicking. He needs a doctor. He needs a doctor right away. So when he tells this lady to get him a doctor, and she's like, well, what do you need a doctor for? And he says, this is an emergency, lady. Get me a goddamn doctor. And she's like, well, you know what? Fuck you and fuck that baby. I'm calling security and having you thrown out because I'm a bitch. It's like, just get a fucking doctor. The guy's got a baby. He's freaking out. Maybe there's something wrong with the baby. Maybe he's just all emotional and can't, get the words out that he wants to say. It could happen to anybody. But then he runs into Dr. Loomis, thank God, and then he finds out that, yeah, Michael Myers is back in town, blah, 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 blah. So then they go and try to save the Strode family, but unfortunately, Michael had already went home and found the Strode family. So they take, what's her name? God damn it. Kara, whatever the fuck her name is. They take her over to Mrs. God damn it, that fucking old lady that can't hear anything. They take her over to her house, okay? And then they're spying over there, and then they see her brother comes home, and they get butchered. They get butchered. Spoiler alert. But then you find out that the old deaf lady that can't hear anything's in on the whole thing, and then you find out the guy that was obvious all along. What the hell was his name? That other doctor guy. It was looked like Jack Palance from City Slickers.
Dr. Wynn.
Dr. Wynn, yeah. Like you didn't know it was him the whole fucking time. Anyway, they drug everybody and they kidnap the baby and they go to this hospital and stuff, and it's a wild third act. Now I feel like the third act in the theatrical version was a hell of a lot better than the third act in the producer's cut. Because, like I said, they gotta go too far with this shit, and then, yeah. The whole Thorn thing at the end of the movie was just kind of stupid. And it bothers me a lot. It bothers me a lot, because, I mean, they could have I don't know. Just, there's a lot of things they did wrong with both versions of this movie. Yet somehow it still came out as, being one of my favorite, honestly, this was one of my favorite horror movies when I was first getting into, like, the big three. Like, I was already into the big, my big three was Freddy, Jason, and Leatherface. And then Chucky. And then Pinhead. And then there was Michael. So I was a little late to the game getting to the Halloween movies. But I do remember, I'm pretty sure I saw this one in the theater when I was like 12. I don't know who the hell took me to see this in the theater, but I think that's another reason that I have nostalgia for it. As dumb as it is, I have nostalgia for it. And as much as I love the, cohesive editing of the producer's cut, I prefer the story of the theatrical version, because they cut out most of the dumb shit. But then they fuck it up with the editing. So this movie is so fucking conflicting, I don't even know how to rate it. I'm going to give it like a B.5 minus. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah, well, neither does the fucking decisions that they made on this fucking movie. So I can't do it anymore, okay? I've done the best I could. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Cody Archer, this video is practically for you. Maybe one of these days we'll watch the theatrical cut. We'll talk about just the theatrical cut, and we'll ignore the fact that Michael had knocked his niece up. Anyway, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I can't stress that enough. I'm tired of having 564 subscribers. I've had 564 subscribers for like a week now. Help me out here. Tell your fucking friends. And I know you haven't been telling your mom. It's like, do I have to tell you to tell your mom every time? I'm getting so bad at this. Maybe I should take a vacation and I'll come back when I feel like it. Nah. I don't know.